Salutations from space and aloha from Earth. This is Gemini Brett, the astronaut of More Than Astrology, with part 2 in a series of 3 videos honor Mercury and his coming dance. The first was about the magical practice of destruction boards and creation boards, or we could call them deconstruction and construction, I guess. Utilizing the sacred timings of this Mercury cycle to enact this great magic of release, renew, and seed planting to move ahead into our higher visions. Now, Taurus is performing his dance this year of 2016 and next of 2017 in the Earth signs, which talks about the body-mind. Now, I'm also going to post a much longer video about the Mercury Synodic cycle, about working with what the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School, Daniel Jamario and Kaylin Castell, my first teachers, call the Mercury overtone. So the global consciousness that we were here to participate with, or what I'm now calling the overmind. And here we're going to look at sacred timings as brought forth by another teacher of mine, Gary Caton, who you can find at Dream Astrologer or at the Hermetic Astrology podcast. Brilliant, and Gary's basically seen how the emerald tablets of Hermes, of Mercury himself, speak about these sacred timings of Mercury. So we've all heard this statement, as above, so below. Actually, what's written in the emerald tablets, and this is Isaac Newton's translation, is this: "'Tis true without lying, certain and most true, that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to achieve the miracles of the one only work." Now let's see how that shows up in the sky and the chart. Tuesday, Mars's Day, April 5th, 2016, 11:11 a.m. for Thrice Great. I'm recording in Seattle, Washington. Is Mars happy today? Sure. Venus just ingressed Aries to join Mercury, Sun, Uranus, and Eris. Mars' sign. But Mars is living in Sagittarius. Jupiter's, who's in Virgo. It's back to Mercury. And tonight, Mercury will ingress Taurus. This will happen around 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Coast time. All right. And in many ways, Mercury, who's been in the overtone or overmind of Capricorn since he last aligned between Earth and Sun in January of 2016, is beginning to taste the new culture because he is about to transform into the Taurus mind. Mercury will station retrograde on April 28th, the 24th degree of Taurus, conjunct Vesta, the keeper of the sacred flame. So what is sacred about the Taurus earth body mind of intimacy as an art form and beauty as a spiritual practice and living simple and slowing down to taste the grace of earth's pace and to allow ourselves to receive and to be in the body, the fruit and the flower? Mercury, at the time of his retrograde station, will be in a grand Earth trine with the North Node in Virgo and Moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. And we could go on and on around that. But I'm going to take the other planets away now and just leave the Sun and Mercury. We'll see that Mercury conjuncts the Sun, makes interior conjunction, like a new Mercury, between Earth and Sun on May 9th, the 20th degree of Taurus. And Taurus, which has Venusian energy, asked me to bring the goddess in now, who will be in Taurus at that time as well. But very importantly, Mercury is conjunct his descending or south node at this time. This is a Mercury transit, where we will have the rare opportunity to actually see Mercury moving between us and the orb of the sun. Mercury hasn't made a transit at his south node in Taurus since 2003 and won't again until 2049. So in many respects, as we are now called to connect to the Taurus body-mind, we're doing so in such a way that's allowing us to release energies that have kept us from really connecting to Taurus since 2003. And we're planting seeds that will slowly sprout and flower and fruit all the way until 2049. It's a big time. All right. Mercury will conjunct Venus about 4 days later on May 13th in her sign of Taurus. And Mercury will station direct on May 22nd at the 15th degree of Taurus. So retrograde April 28th, direct on May 22nd. In many ways, either at May 9th when he makes interior conjunction with the Sun between Earth and Sun, or on May 22nd as it's visioned forth by shamanic astrology when Mercury stations direct, the overtone of Mercury consciousness, the global consciousness quest, or the overmind will shift into the nature of Taurus, Earth, body, mind. All of Mercury's dances of 2016 are in the Earth signs, 2017 as well. But the sacred timings we are going to find by honoring Mercury's maximum elongations, okay? The furthest he gets from the sun in the west and in the east. So here's after sunset on April 17th, 2016, with Mercury about 20 degrees from the sun in the 19th degree of Taurus. Okay, so this is the above. When Mercury's out from under the beams of the sun and Mercury can be seen. 19th degree of Taurus, April 17th. Mercury transit on May 9th. 20th degree of Taurus. See, it's the same zone of the zodiac. And then it will be June 5th when Mercury reaches maximum morning elongation. I'll take this back to sunrise, 24 degrees from the sun's light. So very visible in the evening at the 22nd degree of Taurus. So check that out. The as above, April 17th, maximum western elongation, 19 degrees Taurus, is like that which is below, 20 degrees Taurus, May 9th, in the underworld, interior conjunct between Earth and Sun, the time of Mercury's transit. That which is below is like that which is above. Maximum morning elongation, the most visible time for Mercury is scout in the morning sky, 22nd degree of Taurus. So 19th degree of Taurus, 20th degree of Taurus, 22nd degree of Taurus. And so these are the timings that we will utilize. April 17th, seeing Mercury in the west. May 9th, seeing Mercury between us and the sun. And then June 5th, seeing Mercury in the morning before the sun rises. The above, the below, the above. All zoning in to the same essence of the zodiacal energies in these 19, 20, 22nd degrees of Taurus. So let's check out the Sabian symbols as visioned forth by Elsie Wheeler at the request of Mark Edmund Jones some time ago. I think it was 1928 or 29. For these degrees, okay, the 19th degree of Taurus, where Mercury makes western elongation on April 17th. A new continent rising out of the ocean. The surge of new potentiality after the crisis is Dane Rajar's keynote from his book An Astrological Mandala for that Sabian symbol. A new continent rising out of the ocean. Perhaps the ocean of consciousness, memory, of all that is. And here's a new continent, new land, new earth, new Taurus perhaps. So this is what we are setting our seeds of intention around. Also, I should say again that this is Currently a Capricorn overtone cycle, so the sage, the evening star, at the end of his cycle, Mercury, brings forth the new continent of Earth, where Mercury makes the interior conjunction at transit on May 9th, the 20th degree of Taurus. Wisps of wing-like clouds streaming across the sky. All right, so he's unseen, he's in the underworld. Wisps of clouds. We could actually don eclipse glasses and look through binoculars at this time and see Mercury slowly moving across the orb of the sun disk. All right, like a wisp of clouds perhaps. Roger's keynote there, the awareness of spiritual forces at work. So it's starting to happen. And then Mercury's maximum morning elongation on June 5th in these same degrees of the zodiac, but the 22nd degree of Taurus reads this: white dove flying over troubled waters. The spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of crisis. All right, so Roger is really keyed into the kind of the crisis energies and the symbols, but we see a new land sprouting forth, wisps of clouds, then the white dove of peace flies through them. So peace, finding a more peaceful, energetic, the Taurus energy, a more simple life, receiving abundance, sustenance, these kinds of things. And with Thrice Great painting these 19th, 20th, and 22nd degrees of Taurus, can you see how he's also perhaps asking us to focus on the 21st degree of Taurus? Maybe that's even the principal one. And that reads like this: a finger pointing to a line in an open book, with Roger's keynote, learning to discern what in your culture and religion is meaningful to you personally. Very interesting, and meaning to you personally. So our meanings, maybe Mercury, our values, maybe Taurus, our personal stuff, Taurus often associated with the second house, which represents in so many ways that. These are some of the things that we're being asked to kind of tune into during the course of this Mercury cycle. And I like to work with these magical timings, okay? Elongation west, April 17th, interior conjunction, May 9th, and then the elongation east or morning on June 5th, according to Mercury's glyph, the only one, thrice great, who has all three: the crescent of consciousness, the circle of spirit, and the cross of matter. All right, in this order. And the idea, this is the Mercury mudra. All right, when we retrograde this thing, hang loose. How can we playfully work with Mercury's dance, play with Mercury's dance in such a way that actually empowers us rather than deal with all the superstition and scapegoating and hate mail and finger pointing and all that? Why not point to the finger to the line in the open book that is us? Yeah. So, crescent, April 17th. See Mercury in the evening sky. Now he'll be pretty low, about 20 degrees from the sun at that time, so you're going to need a good horizon to see him. If you do, unlike the other planets, Mercury twinkles. This isn't because his light does, it's because he shines only so low to us and through the gift of pollution we've given to the world, unfortunately. You can use an astrology or astronomy app on your phone to help you find Mercury at that time. If you know Orion hunts the bull. The Pleiades sit on the bull's back, and you could drop straight down from the Pleiades after sunset, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes after sunset. Just keep watching, and you'll start to see stars and Mercury appear. And this is crescent of consciousness, okay? Soul. Intention. Hey Mercury, I see you. I understand there's this magical window open to me, April 17th till June 5th, and I bring my consciousness to this, and these are my intentions. This is my wish list. This is something that I would like for you to help me align myself to in the new way that I will body mind, that I will Taurus moving forward, okay? And Also, what am I willing to sacrifice or release? Mercury, when he was 1 day old, became a god after having first created the first ever instrument that could play a chord, the lyre, and having invented sacrifice, which was animal sacrifice. I'm not suggesting you do that, but sacrifice something in you, a habit, perhaps a pattern that has plagued your past, that's kept you from connecting to this Taurus energy. And this C is utilizing that magical practice of the destruction board. Hey Mercury, these are the things that I will diet from, that I'm clearing out during this period. Okay? And the destruction bit, if you want to make a vision board of that which you're releasing, as I spoke about in the first video, this would start at that time, April 17th. Okay? Then, May 9th, during the transit. If you can, get some eclipse glasses and some binoculars and check Mercury out. This is a pretty rare opportunity to actually see his body moving in front of the sun. But if you can't do that, simply look to the sun and know Mercury is there. And this is when we shift into the circle of spirit, which in many essences is prayer. Mercury, I see you, I understand we are in the midst of this sacred timing. I'm true to my diet, what I released, and I found all these things that I'm here to burn. And this May 9th would be the time to do that burning, to let it release. But as I said in the first video, before you burn your destruction board, first love it. And I'll let you tune into that first video to hear more about that. But this is that time, May 9th. Probably the morning hours would actually be very powerful for this, okay? And then we move into June 5th. Cross of matter, embodiment, practice. Gratitude, see Mercury in the morning sky before the sun rises. Thank you. Yeah, I see how these intentions have been served, and now I choose to practice this and to make this part of my life. All right, well, I will see you under the bright trickster light, or kind of dim, twinkly trickster light of Mercury. Here's to deconstruction, reassemblage, construction, destruction, and creation, and dancing with Mercury's sacred dance to enact this magical practice. A cup for you. And one for Hanuman. This is your friendly astronaut Gemini Brett signing off. I will see you in space.